Hi friends, so I wanted to show you how to make some little fish finger puppets. So you're going to need the help of an adult with this, or if you have an older brother or sister maybe, somebody that can use the scissors for you, because we're going to be doing some cutting. So make sure you have somebody to help you, and if you don't yet, you can watch the video and ask somebody for help later on in the day. So let me show you how we make our fish finger puppets. All right, so we're going to start by making this guy. And this guy, I made him out of foam, but if you have any, let's see, maybe some felt at home or some more sturdy fabric, because it's pretty stiff. So I used some foam, and I already had this at home, and it's a little bit thicker than paper. It's a little bit thick. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pen. I'm going to use a marker to draw, and I'm going to draw the shape of a little fish. Now you can just guess on the shape of a little fish. You can use my shape of a little fish, or you can go to the internet and look up some shapes of fish. I'm going to make a really simple fish. I'm going to make him look a little bit like an eyeball. And that is a really simple shape. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut two of those because we need the front and the back of our fish. So I'm going to put it on so that there's two pieces of foam. And I'm going to cut it two at a time. Now you can cut them one at a time or you can cut them two at a time. But you need two of the pieces, and they should be pretty close to the same shape so that your fishy matches up. Now your fishy doesn't have to look exactly like mine. How many fish in the ocean look exactly the same? Even if they're the same kind of fish, I bet they don't look exactly the same. There's something different about every little fish. So we want our fishies to be unique and different and their own little fish. See already? This one's going to be a little bit smaller than my last fish, or my other fish. All right, so this one's going to be a little bit smaller. So I've got my fish body, and then I also need a fish tail. I only need one tail, so I'm going to draw it here. And my fish tail, let's look at the shape of our fish tails. They look a little bit like a boomerang, right? Those are the things in Australia that they throw and they come back to you. Do you see that? It's kind of like a Y. So I'm going to make, I'm going to use this as my example. So I'm going to go up, and I'm going to make him a little tail. And if you want to make him bigger tail or a littler tail, that is up to you because it's your fish. All right, so there's my fish tail. And I'm going to cut that out. And make sure you get an adult to help you, because this is going to be small. And I don't want you to cut yourself with the scissors or to get in trouble for using the scissors. So maybe you could draw the fish tail and you can get an adult to cut it out for you. There we go. And there is my fishtail. So now here's the tricky part. Here is definitely where you need an adult's help. If you are going to use felt or foam, you could try to glue them together, or you might even tape them together. You could even staple them together. I am going to use a needle and thread. Now you definitely need adults' help if you're going to use a needle. All right, so let's see. I'm going to tie a knot at the end of my thread, and I'm going to take the two pieces of my fishy. I'm going to match them up. Okay, and then I'm going to poke the needle through, and I'm going to sew them together. Now it doesn't have to be sewn together extremely perfectly. All we're doing is making a little finger puppet. And we just want him to stay together. He doesn't need to look perfect. So if you can see there, I'm just making a couple of stitches. And my thread matches my foam a little bit, but it doesn't have to. In fact, it might be fun if you did a different color of thread. Maybe if I did a blue thread on a red fishy, or I could do green thread on a yellow fishy would look pretty. All right, and very important, I'm going to stop just before the tail. See there? Here's the end. And I'm going to make sure and leave some space so I can sew on his tail. So I'm going to make it right there, and I left the end open a little bit. You can see there. Okay. And then most importantly, we can't sew our fishy all the way through. We want to leave a spot for our finger. Otherwise, it's not a finger puppet. So I'm going to skip over this large area, and I'm going to go all the way. I better check to make sure my finger will fit. Oh, that takes up a lot of area. So I have to start all the way over here because my finger is going to take up a lot of space. So I'm going to jump over, and I'm going to start sewing again here. So there's room for my finger. Otherwise, he's still a fun fish, but he's not a finger puppet. All right, and the last little stitch, and then I am going to tie a knot so that that stays together. Make it nice and tight. I'm going to take my scissors, again, make sure an adult's doing this, and I'm going to trim off all the extra pieces of string. There we go, there's the body of my fish. I'm going to take my tail, and I'm going to just insert it here. And I'm going to sew on the tail. So let's see, I need to make another knot in my thread. All right, and this doesn't need a lot of stitches. I'm just going to make sure, poke it through. So it's going through all 3 pieces of foam. And one more time. And he's got a little tail, and then I'm going to tie a knot so it stays put. And then again, I'm going to take my scissors and trim off the extra thread. All right, so now we've got the body of a little fishy, and he fits on my finger, but you know what? I think he's missing something. I think we need to decorate him. I'm going to take one of my markers. Let's see, I think I should take the silver marker. This fishy's going to have some silver polka dots. I think this fishy should have polka dots. And you can decorate your fishy any way you think your fishy should be decorated. And make sure you do the other side. In fact, you know what, this side, I think I'm going to do stripes. This side of the fishy, he's going to have silver stripes. Just for fun. Because I think stripes on a fishy is fun. So there is my foam fishy finger puppet. Make sure you give him a name.